You probably didn't expect Canada's biggest tech boom to be happening here in Ontario. Not in some futuristic city with flying cars or AI robots roaming the streets, but in quiet suburbs, university labs, and modest co-working spaces above bubble tea shops. It doesn't look like Silicon Valley, but something's happening here. Startups are scaling, venture capital is flowing, tech giants are hiring, and in the background, Ontario is becoming the new face of Canadian innovation. But how did a province known more for ice storms and property taxes suddenly turn into the tech capital of Canada? Let's rewind. For decades, if you were serious about tech, you left Canada. You moved to California, maybe New York. That's where the money was. That's where the opportunities were. Canada, by comparison, was polite, talented, but not taken seriously. It was a feeder system. Train the talent, send them south. I used to believe that too, but something changed. And the first sign of it? A little device we all used to be obsessed with, the BlackBerry. Waterloo, Ontario, not exactly the place you'd expect to birth a global tech empire, but that's where research in motion, later known as BlackBerry, built the world's first smartphone empire. At its peak, BlackBerry had over 80 million users. Everyone from Barack Obama to Bay Street bankers had one in their hand. And when BlackBerry collapsed, most people assumed the party was over. But what they didn't see was what got left behind. Infrastructure, talent, and hunger. Entire teams of engineers didn't leave when BlackBerry shut its doors. They stayed. They built. Some started their own companies. Others joined universities or venture funds. They laid the foundation for what would become Ontario's second act in tech. Ever used a BlackBerry? Drop a comment with which model you had. I had the Bold. Meanwhile, in Toronto, something else was bubbling under the surface. Developers were meeting in basements. Digital agencies were pivoting to products. Old industrial buildings were turning into co-working hubs. You could walk down Queen West and pass 3 startups without even noticing. And in 2006, an e-commerce company launched out of Ottawa with the goal of making online stores easier to build. It was called Shopify. At first, no one noticed, just another startup with a catchy name. But by the time it went public in 2015, Shopify was a billion-dollar company, then $10 billion, then $100 billion. Suddenly, Canada wasn't just a place to build nice little tech tools, it was a place to build empires. Investors took notice, international media took notice, and maybe most importantly, Canadians themselves started to believe in what was happening here. And yet, even Shopify wasn't the full story. The secret weapon in Ontario's tech rise? Immigration. While the US tightened its borders, Canada opened its doors. Engineers, designers, developers, people from India, Nigeria, China, the Philippines, Pakistan arrived in record numbers. They came with degrees, drive, and permanent residency. And instead of heading straight to Silicon Valley, they stayed. They settled in Brampton, Mississauga, Scarborough, Kitchener. They built families. They built companies. And in the process, they built an ecosystem that didn't rely on gatekeepers. Many of them couldn't raise venture capital, so they bootstrapped. They didn't have Stanford networks, so they launched on Reddit, Discord, and Shopify forums. It wasn't flashy, but it worked. If you're still watching, you're probably starting to see the pattern. Ontario didn't win the tech race by outspending or out-hyping anyone. It just kept showing up. And then the giants arrived. Google opened an AI lab in Toronto. Meta expanded its hiring. Amazon scaled its cloud presence. Microsoft, Nvidia, IBM all moved quietly into Ontario with engineering offices and research partnerships. By 2022, Toronto was the fastest growing tech hub in North America. Let that sink in. Faster than Austin, faster than Miami, faster than Silicon Valley. Why? Well, here's what the data says. Talent, cost, and stability. Canadian engineers are among the best trained in the world. Office space is cheaper, turnover is lower, and government incentives, especially for R&D, make hiring here a smart long-term move. But there's another reason, a more human one. People like building where they feel like they belong. Are you in tech in Ontario? What's the vibe where you work? Comment where you're based. Now here's something most Canadians don't realize. It's not just happening in Toronto or Waterloo. It's happening in Hamilton, in London, in Oshawa, even in Sudbury. Accelerators are launching in regional cities. Fintech startups are raising seed rounds in towns you'd never expect. Remote work has made the whole province fair game. One founder I met recently was running a 15-person SaaS company from a 2-bedroom condo in Guelph. Another was scaling a machine learning startup out of a garage in Vaughan. These aren't edge cases. They're becoming the norm. Ontario's ecosystem isn't centralized. It's distributed, and that might be its biggest strength. But no boom is without growing pains. The cost of living has gone up. Rents in tech-heavy neighborhoods have spiked. Junior engineers are burning out. Mid-career developers are getting poached by US firms with bigger paychecks. And diversity? It's improving, but leadership still doesn't always reflect the communities it serves. There's also the shadow of imposter syndrome. Canadians have a habit of downplaying their wins. Even now, some founders feel the need to validate themselves by raising capital in the US or moving to California. But here's the thing, the numbers don't lie. Ontario isn't aspiring to be a tech hub. It already is one. You just might not have realized it yet. Still watching? Let me know below. Are you staying in Ontario or planning to leave for the US? What's fascinating is that that this shift didn't come from government planning or a single tech corridor. It came from layers of community, from college dropouts and university researchers, from recent immigrants and legacy founders, from people who just wanted to solve problems and ended up building companies along the way. I think that's what makes Ontario's tech rise feel different. It's not built on hype, it's built on homes. I've seen meetings where engineers hold toddlers while pushing code. I've watched product demos in halal pizza joints. I've seen founders take investment calls in parked cars because their condo was too loud. It's not glamorous, but it's real. And when it works beautifully. Startups that begin with 3 friends and a Google Doc go on to raise millions, hire dozens, and impact thousands. And they do it without ever leaving the 401. The question now isn't, is Ontario the new Silicon Valley? It's how long until the rest of the world figures it out? If you've built something here, I'd shout it out in the comments. Let others know they're not alone. So what happens next? Well, there are challenges. And regulation is coming. Funding may tighten. Some bubbles may pop. But Ontario has one thing many ecosystems lack: resilience. We've seen booms, we've seen crashes, and we're still here, still coding, still building, still betting on each other. You can feel it in the coffee shops, in the Slack channels, in the late-night Zoom calls. It's not loud, it's not hyped, but it's here. And if you're watching this, maybe you're part of it too. Ontario didn't become Canada's tech hub by trying to be someone else. It became one by being itself. Steady, ambitious, slightly underdog. From BlackBerry's fall to Shopify's rise, from Brampton basements to Bay Street IPOs, from Toronto's downtown towers to Vaughan garages, this is what building looks like. No neon signs, no billion-dollar launch parties, just thousands of people showing up every day, doing the work, solving real problems. That's Ontario Tech, that's Maple Street. And the next time someone tells you nothing exciting ever happens here, just send them this video. Last one, if you made it this far, drop Hanyura emoji in the comments. Let's see who stayed.